Hi, and welcome to the Culinary Journey. I am really excited for today's show. Not only do I have our guest, Michael Jaro, who is one of Bella Vista's finest, one of our canine officers, but we also have a wonderful studio audience that I'm really excited about. Yeah, give yourself a hand. So anyway, I'm going to let Michael tell you a little bit about himself and what he's got going on.
I've been a police officer for a little over 5 years. I've been a canine officer for almost 4 years. Actually, in March, I'll have had my canine rip for right at 4 years. Since then, I've noticed there's been a kind of a lacking in just big name trainers coming to our area, equipment. I've seen a lot of departments short on equipment and stuff like that. So last year I sat down with my wife, we discussed it, and we decided to start a nonprofit. And since we're canine officers, we decided canines for canines is what we were going to call it. And in that time frame, we've been able to help a retired canine that needed dental surgery, and that was pretty expensive out of pocket because once they retire, it's on us to actually pay for that. So to help that individual and the canine, we raised around $3,000 to $4,000 to help with that. I think the in total was like $5,000. Wow. And then in the time frame, we also been able to, at the end of the year, we got 13 canine teams in the 4-state area. Sweatshirts and beanies for the cold weather. A lot of places don't get provided training clothes as much because we don't want to work with our actual police clothing and gear on when we're having to deal with somebody else's dog or something like that, because we don't want to get them thinking that they can bite somebody in uniform. So we always got to trade that up and change it. But my big goal is to eventually help retired canines when I can, but my main goal is to get training into our area with bigger trainers, more known trainers that have different ways of doing things, and bring them to our area because there's not a lot that come here, and I don't know why.
We're not a big metropolis.
You would think that, but we have a lot of canines in our area, and like we have 2. Bentonville has 4, I think, right now.
Wow.
Rogers, I'm not sure how many they have in Springdale and stuff, but I know they all have canines, and the 4-state area as a whole has quite a bit of canines too. So I want to help them with training and help teams get equipment.
Yeah. Is there anything special like when you're going to retire one of the dogs?
So some people, to keep them active and keep them thinking they're still working, they do what they imprint them on something. One guy I talked to, he imprinted his dog on dryer sheets. So instead of looking for drugs, now he looks for dryer sheets, and he actually he gets his toy or his treat.
Genius.
Yeah, it is because their noses are phenomenal. So that keeps them active. They can go around and keep doing work in their mind and stuff like that because they get restless at home. They want to work. They want to go out and do things more than a normal dog. Especially mine. He's super high drive. He's always wanting to go. So yeah, that's a big thing. And then keep up with their medical stuff like that. We implemented this year. We're gonna actually get both of our dogs a really good teeth checkup and stuff because they actually have to go under to do that because they're not like a normal dog. You don't want the vet messing with their mouth and stuff like that because they are high drive and stuff. So it's a little more extensive than a normal dog. So.
Gosh, I can imagine. Things I'd never thought of, but definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Truly, truly amazing. I mean, how long is training to become canine officer?
So our training that we went to, it differs by different facilities you go to. Ours was a live-in facility. We lived there for a month, and we worked for a month training with our dogs. Our dogs were already pre-trained. It was more us learning how to work with our dogs and actually speak to our dogs, because every dog speaks a different language too. So like
Well, you have to become partners.
they do, and like ours, all their commands are in German. So you have to get used to that. You have to get used to the different things you have to do with a working dog and stuff like that, and just different words that they key in on. Like to go to the bathroom, we use take a break, and just things like that. It's different. My wife, when I first got him, tried to tell him go potty or something like that. And he just looked like I'm a working dog. I don't use those kinds of words. But some other places it's a 10-week, but they start off with what they call a green dog, and it actually has very little training done. So the handler does all the training with the master trainer at the facility. So it differs in a lot of different ways.
And where do the dogs come from?
Most of the dogs come from overseas.
Wow.
Our 2 dogs came from
Interesting.
Poland, and they actually have their own little passport. Because to come to the United States, they have to be vet checked and all this other stuff, and they have IDs and stuff that goes with them, and a whole packet basically saying they're healthy, they have good bone structure, there's nothing wrong with them, and then they have to be quarantined and stuff like that. Some people's dogs come from like the Czech Republic or other places like that. Even if it's like a local facility around here, they usually go someplace else to find the dogs, pick them out, and get them imported.
Oh, so what's the difference? I mean, why do they have to import them? Is there a good reason?
There actually is. It's the standard. So AKC and stuff like that, their standard is a little bit different than what it is in Europe. And a lot of dogs, their breed has changed in the United States because of breeding and overbreeding and stuff like that. Like if you look like at a German Shepherd now compared to a German Shepherd in like 1930, their back was a little bit more flat. It was straight. Now if you look at them, they kind of look like a truck with the springs out of the back of it. Honestly, they're kind of lowered in the back now, and it's causing hip dysplasia and stuff like that. And that comes from overbreeding, inbreeding, trying to sell a dog. But at the same time, like Rip is a Belgian Malinois. Malinois used to weigh 50, 60 pounds normally. They were smaller than a German Shepherd. They were skinnier. They're way more active. Rip is an 82-pound Belgian Malinois.
Wow.
And it's all muscle. He's not fat. And a lot of that has changed because of the last 25 years, the global war on terror, the different breedings of the dogs, breeding them to be bigger, to do bigger things, and still be muscular, tough, strong dogs that have a mentality to keep on working no matter what. So that breed has changed dramatically. And overseas, they're bigger, but they still try to keep a lot of the basic original concept of what the dog should be. And that's why most people import the dogs. The Air Force has started a program, I guess, in the last 10, 15 years where they're actually doing their own breeding. And I know they sell to police agencies and stuff like that.
Okay.
But for the most part, a lot of people import their dogs.
Well, I guess, they want to make sure they're purebred.
Well, that's the thing it's kind of weird is we don't actually get a, like you would get like in the United States, if you sell a purebred dog, you get AKC documentation, stuff like that. With police dogs and stuff, you don't necessarily get that. You just have paperwork saying this is what the dog is and a health record. It's not like it's through a certifying agency or anything like that. But a lot of agencies too are also going to it's kind of a hybrid, I guess, and it's a cross between a German Shepherd and a Malinois, or a German Shepherd and a Dutch Shepherd. And by doing so, they're trying to get the best of both worlds of the calmness of a German Shepherd, because Dutch Shepherds and Malinois are pretty high energy. but also trying to breed out a lot of those, like the hip dysplasias and the medical issues that German Shepherds have. So.
Okay. Wow. So how long did it take you to get used to Rip? Is that his name?
His name's Rip. It actually took me, it's really hard to say. Like, we bonded really, really fast. Most of the canines I worked with whenever I was there, the officers and the canines were having a little bit of an issue. Rip and I we just bonded. One day I just sat down out in the field with him, and he just came over and he kind of just laid his head in my lap, let me pet him and stuff like that.
Wow.
I mean, the first day, I kind of had to show him who was more dominant, who, you know. He growled at me and he kind of showed his teeth, and but I did what they told me to do, and I just didn't back down from him, anything like that. And then the weird thing is about a Malinois is they don't actually grow out of their puppy stage, it doesn't feel like, until they're about 4, 3 to 4. So he changed. So he was high strung, he was all over the place, and but I learned him, he learned me, and like I know what different things mean whenever he does stuff. So we bonded really quick, and then it was just progressing from there. And he's my best friend. I'm with him 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So he lives with me. He's my best friend. So yeah.
Wow. Wife's not jealous, is she?
A little bit. So he gets special treats from my wife, which is really funny. He gets giant vanilla marshmallows. He gets 3. He gets 3 at a time. It's funny though, because he knows if my wife shorts him, and only gives him 2. Because he'll look and he wants the 3rd one, or he'll take all 3 and stack them up in a pile so he knows he got all 3. But he also knows if my wife didn't get the right order that day and actually got unflavored marshmallows or regular flavored marshmallows, and he kind of huffs at that, but he still eats them. I mean,
so they have temper tantrums too?
They do. They definitely have them, and but he's funny, and every one of them have a different character and demeanor and stuff like that. And like Rip, the way they trained him was whenever you get him out of the kennel, he'll give you a hug. Both of our dogs we currently have came from the same kennel. They both do the same thing. It just makes you feel more comfortable. It makes them feel more comfortable. For a normal person, it's weird because you have this dog that's supposed to be big and ferocious, and he's trying to get up in your business, like, because he wants a hug. A lot of people are like, oh my God, but it's different. It's fun. And like he'll wrap both his arms around me at night before I put him to bed. And he holds tight, like with both hands and paws on my arm as I hold him up, and he snuggles into me, and I tell him kennel, and he goes in and he lays down, and he has his own. His kennel's in my garage, so he has his own heat and air unit out there. He has a sound machine. A sound machine. He likes thunderstorm sounds, and
oh my gosh!
I do it because even though my garage is fully insulated and everything like that, he can still hear like cars and people drive by because their senses are so high that I want to block out that noise as much as possible for him. That way he's not being disturbed, and he's not just, people are wondering, where's this barking dog coming from? I hear him, but I can't see him, so yeah.
It sounds like he definitely has his own personality. Has he taken on any of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, that's a good question. He doesn't listen to my wife, so I guess that's one of them. But he's pretty high active, high energy, so he's a little bit different than me. I'm kind of slow and old, and he's young and fast, and so yeah.
Good. Okay, we're going to take a little break,
Okay.
and then we're going to talk about the treat you brought for us.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I'm sorry I
how it
broke,
became
but
your
it is
well,
what it
you
is.
know, accidents happen.
They
We
do.
don't care.
Okay. It
We're
all
only
eats the
worried
same.
about taste.
I hear it tastes really good, so.
Okay, we will be right back.
Experience the Macadoodles difference. Shop leisurely in our friendly and spacious store 7 days a week. Browse our wine cellar. We offer the top labels and hot new wines. Wide aisles, hardwood floors, and easy-to-find, well-lit displays make shopping enjoyable. Customers are our #1 priority. If you can't find something, our courteous staff will assist you and we'll even help you to your car with your purchase. World-class customer service. Largest and best selection in the area. Low prices. Experience the Macadoodles difference today.
Welcome back. Well, we are going to continue our conversation, and we will have some time for questions because I believe several people here have questions for you. But what you brought, your specialty is a bourbon cake.
Yes, ma'am. So I was stationed in bourbon country, Kentucky, for 8 years out of my almost 12 years of military time. I was stationed there twice, 4-year stints both times. With that, I fell in love with bourbon. So my wife doesn't like the bourbon. She loves the smell of bourbon. She likes to taste and cook things, but she doesn't really drink it. But one of her specialties is a bourbon cake. And we kind of fell in love with it. It's something we take to dinner parties or to events or something usually because she likes making it. It's her specialty. So we kind of changed the recipe just a tad. And we'll get into that.
Okay, so living in Kentucky, and I'm sure you've done a few distilleries. And do you have a favorite bourbon?
I actually brought one of my favorites. One of my favorites is a 1792 Full Proof. It's a barrel strength, so it has all the flavors. It's the second one right there. And it's actually it's what I would consider kind of a sister bourbon to Blanton's or anything made at that distillery because they're both owned by Sazerac. And I've found nothing I didn't like that came from either one of those distilleries. The two other bourbons there on the end are actually, they're bourbons that I picked. I picked out the barrel and purchased them. And so those are, I can't say those aren't my favorite too because, I mean, they are mine, so.
Yeah. Well, my husband and I did do half of the Bourbon Trail. We may go back this spring to finish it.
I'm jealous.
So
I want to get back.
It was a lot of fun. I had to chuckle because our nephew came with us, met us
Okay.
down there, and he's like, hey, it's 10 o'clock. We haven't done any tasting yet.
Very
I'm
sure.
like, Taylor, take it easy. But it was a lot of fun, and it's amazing the deals that you get at the distilleries, especially Buffalo Trace, you know, where they have them all out. And
They do.
I think it was 3 per person or 2
Yeah.
of each one. And I like Weller.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like, okay, Taylor, will you give me one of those too? So,
Yep.
to stock up.
It's changed though. So I got out of the military right at the beginning of 2018. And when I got out, like you didn't have to go make appointments and schedule a time to be there. You could just show up and they had a tour every 45 minutes. Blanton's, Buffalo Trace, they've started a whole thing now where they advertise the day before of what they're releasing the next day.
Yeah.
And people will stand in line for hours hoping to get
Get
that. And like when I was there, right now, Blanton's was a $50 bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about what it is. If you want it retail here today in Bella Vista, 120, might be 125.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get
Yeah.
a heck of a deal if you go to the distillery.
Yeah, you
Of course,
actually
you have to pay for the trip.
You do,
but-
but you get MSRP, which is nice, you know. So it's like I said, it's changed dramatically, and with people going to bourbon and liking bourbon, and it's just changed
Yeah.
it dramatically with pricing and availability. So
Well, I'm amazed how many people here in Bella Vista are bourbon drinkers.
there's a lot.
We have a party, you know, and we'll put out bourbon, the different liquors, and, you know, we always have beer. Like, nobody touches the beer.
Especially if you
They're
have something
all going
like
for
that.
the good stuff.
Yep, because
Which-
they can't get it, so they're like, "Hey, I could try
Yeah.
it here," which At one time, I thought about starting like a bourbon club, so everybody could taste something they never had. Everybody just brings a different bottle. So, but my cake, it's a bourbon cake. It starts off with your cake flour, which I had never used a cake flour before. You combine that with your baking powder, your baking soda, and your kosher salt. And then in a measuring cup, you combine buttermilk, and bourbon and vanilla extract, your liquids. And then from there, I guess I should have started with, you want everything at room temperature. So your eggs, you want those at room temperature. Your butter, you want that at room temperature. And your buttermilk, you want that at room temperature as well.
And your eggs.
Yes, your eggs. Your eggs definitely need those at room temperature as well. After you get those things kind of made up, you combine your sugars, which is going to be your white sugar, your brown sugar, and I think that's it.
Yeah, unsalted butter.
Yeah,
sugar.
and your salted butter. And you cream that together by itself. And then after that, you combine a third of your dry mixture that you'd already made. And then you pour in about a third of your liquid too, as it's mixing and everything. And you do that off and on until you actually have everything combined together.
Start and end with flour?
Start and adding flour?
No, start and end.
Yes.
Recipes are always saying start and end with flour when you're doing that.
Yeah, this one really didn't say it. It actually told me just to alternate liquids and flours. And I actually found it was easier with it to do the flour, then the liquid, the flour, then liquid, because it kind of got a little too dry.
Oh, okay.
And it ended up working really well. And we do something different with our bundt pan though. We don't use a spray. We actually take butter and we butter the entire pan. And we've never had one stick into a bundt pan doing that.
That's amazing, because you will hear, and I don't know how many of you know this, if you are using a bundt pan, or I actually do with any cake or cupcakes, I wait until I'm ready to fill them before I grease, because what happens, it all slides down, and then your cake is going to stick to the pan. So if you've had that problem, that's how to get around it.
And with butter, it sticks to the side and it doesn't melt down and everything as you're pouring it in. So, like I said, we've had good luck doing that. Because occasionally I actually make the cake. I did this one, as you see. My wife would have done a better job.
It's okay. We don't care.
But then after you take it out, you let it sit for about 10 minutes on a wire rack. And then you make the frosting. You poke holes in the bottom of it so that the frosting will actually seep into the cake. And so here's what we do differently on our frosting. It says to do a fourth of a cup of bourbon. I do a half a cup of bourbon. I double the mixture, but then you're supposed to also take 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 6 tablespoons of butter. You're going to melt the butter, then you're going to add the bourbon, and then you're going to combine the sugar into it. Well, we also add a half a cup of orange juice with that whenever we do it. That way it gives it a little citrus flavor with the bourbon, which goes really well.
Yeah.
We've talked about in the past about using powdered sugar and doing more of a white frosting and actually combining a little bit of orange zest in there, some more orange juice, and chopping up maraschino cherries and making it into an old-fashioned.
And you didn't bring us any of that.
No, like I said, we've been talking about it. I haven't tried it yet. I didn't want to bring something I've never done. So, that'll be my next one. So
that's okay. I experiment on people here all the time.
Oh, okay.
I usually bring in something, and sometimes I'll put a little twist on it.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's a good thing. It puts your own little flavor to it. So, but
go on.
No, go ahead.
Of course, when you bake the cake, the alcohol is going to bake off.
It is.
However, the glaze.
No. So the alcohol glaze doesn't really, it doesn't cook off because you actually take the butter off of the stove right as you put the bourbon into it. So it doesn't really have time to cook the alcohol off. but with the amount of cake and what little bit of bourbon is in there, it's not going to affect you. You're not going to get intoxicated off of it. So I think by the time you ate the whole cake, you still wouldn't even be intoxicated. So you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it sounds delicious, and we are going to, when we finish up here, cut it up so everybody can taste it.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for Michael?
Question for you? Did you have a question?
What kind of bourbon did you say? Can you use all kinds for the cake, or does it?
You can use all kinds of bourbons or Tennessee whiskey. It's basically just called a whiskey cake, but I'm partial to bourbon, so that's what I always try to use. I like the vanilla flavors and caramels that usually bourbon brings
So
with
you
it.
have used like
I've used different kind. I've experimented with different
Jack
things.
Daniels or
Yes, ma'am.
Tennessee whiskey?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
That's always the first one that comes to mind is Jack Daniels.
Who else? Come on, be brave.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions about canines for canines too.
I was going to say what you said about eating the frosting. She's good. She's going to make a comment.
Oh, I was just going to comment on, it might be good just to have the frosting.
Just eat the frosting and eat the cakes.
It probably tastes pretty good.
You know what? You could put that on ice cream.
You could. You definitely could.
Okay, we can get real creative here now.
Yes, ma'am. We definitely can.
Rick, is Rick's job drugs, or what is he trained to do for Bella Vista?
So he is a dual-purpose canine, which means he does search for drugs. He also does tracking, trailing, and patrol work, which involves finding fugitives or anything of that nature. And he also can find lost articles, which could be evidence of a crime, or it could be something that somebody's just thrown out and stuff like that. So he can find that kind of stuff as well. And his main job a lot of the time is protecting me and being with me. He freaks out if he doesn't get to actually get out of the car with me when I do stuff. It's part of their training that, like, it's kind of bad, but it's kind of good. He knows, like, when the blue lights come on, he can hear the buzz and the hum from it. So whenever you first get them, like, they know every time the sirens and stuff go on or the blue lights, they know they're getting out of the car to do something. In real life, that's not the way it works. So then the rest of your career, they're always amped up every time that happens because they think they're going to get to go do some work, so.
So they're excited about their work.
Oh, they love their work more than anything in the world.
I have another question. Is he also trained to assist with lost people? Because I know some of the seniors in facilities in Bella Vista have kind of walked away. And
So there is actually case law against that because of what kind of dog he is. He's trained to apprehend somebody, which can be detrimental to somebody that's lost. So you want a non-bite dog to really be looking for elderly people, people with any kind of mental disabilities, or just if you're just looking for a lost individual in general. Bite dogs aren't really the way you want to go with that. You want to go with a dog that doesn't do bites.
Wow, didn't know you had bite dogs and non-bite dogs.
You do, because you'll have like a German short-haired pointer or a bloodhound or a lab, or even Malinois or German shepherds and stuff like that can be non-bite dogs as well, and just do search and rescue.
Wow.
So
I think we got one more over here.
So, quick question on Rip. So, does he know when he's on the job, like when you're in uniform, and then when you take your uniform off and you're done with that, he's done with the day and he's done working, and then he becomes, what, the family buddy?
He's kind of the family pet, but at the same time, because of his drive is so high, he doesn't get the freedom that like a normal family pet does because he's a working dog. But he does know the difference. Like when I take my uniform off, he takes his uniform off too, which is different collars because they're trained. Different colors mean different things for them, and different jobs depends on which collar I hook into. he honestly kind of looks like a pirate sometimes when he gets out of the car because he has three different collars on. So one's an electric collar, one's a pinch collar, and the other one's a flat collar. So they all are parts of a different job.
Question, does he like bourbon cake?
He's not allowed to have bourbon cake. He has a pretty sensitive stomach, so yeah, we kind of limit on what he gets.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what he says too, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to need to wrap up. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and remember that we are a nonprofit, just as Michael's Foundation is a nonprofit. And I'm going to thank our sponsors of today, who are Macadoodles, where you can get a wonderful variety of bourbons, and Turnbuckle Farm. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.